I mean, Netflix did the dumping. That much is obvious. I mean, this is the line she's going for, you know.
Is Netflix done with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle after their reported $100 million deal?
They are
Anyone looking at the outside, that parting company with Netflix is not a great thing for your brand.
Great life, you've got a beautiful family, you're so much in love. Move on, get a life, move on. And they just can't seem to, because their living is by telling their truth on the wrong.
We lost interest in being partnered with a brand that people weren't interested in. And I mean,
Meghan Markle spent years shaping her image, peaking with a bombshell Oprah Winfrey interview in 2021.
they do stuff really fast, they commission it, it's made, it comes out. So the fact that both Meet Me at the Lake and The Wedding Day.
I feel like this is all fake.
2 weeks after its debut, Meghan Markle's Netflix show is still giving critics something to snack on. Not everyone feeling so salty. In episode 1 of With Love, Meghan, the Duchess reaches deep into her bag of tricks, showing
Part company and never have anything to do with each other again. It's just so clearly nonsense.
They had to do was shut up and do nothing.
Part that Meghan Markle, who married this ginger retard and took him out of his racist family so that they could
in the last few weeks is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's been.
The ratings were bad. Everyone knows that now. The numbers have been pulled apart, analyzed, screenshot, and shared across every royal commentary channel and gossip forum on the internet. That story has been told. But here's what hasn't been told. What the numbers never captured, what no press release mentioned, and no carefully worded statement addressed. The people, the ones who were actually inside those rooms, the ones who sat in those meetings, answered those emails, and worked alongside Meghan Markle during the years the Sussex brand was supposed to be taking over Hollywood. Because according to conversations that have been circulating across media circles and going viral in royal commentary communities online, the ratings weren't the first warning sign. They were just the last one. If you want more deep dives into stories like this, make sure you subscribe to Royal Archives because this one goes deeper than any number ever could. Let's go back to before the collapse. Before the headlines, before the exit statements and the carefully managed announcements, back to when the deal was still alive and the Sussex brand was still being positioned as the next great Hollywood reinvention story. Because even then, even at the height of the optimism, something was already being said behind closed doors, quietly, consistently, by multiple people in multiple rooms. No one enjoyed working with her.
They don't like her. No one enjoys really working with her from what I can see.
That's not a headline from a tabloid. That's the kind of sentence that spreads through an industry the way rumors spread through a royal household. Whispered, repeated, and eventually impossible to ignore. And according to what's been circulating in entertainment media and picked up by royal commentators, it wasn't just one disgruntled voice. It wasn't an isolated complaint from a single project. Multiple people speaking to multiple outlets kept arriving at the same conclusion: that working alongside Meghan Markle was not what anyone expected it to be.
But I suppose in some kind of mad world, they might think that they're better off doing it on their own without the backing of a giant international behemoth.
And this is where the story takes a turn. Because there's a version of this narrative, the version Meghan's team has consistently pushed, where the Netflix partnership ended because she outgrew it. Where the split was mutual, professional, and always part of the plan. Where a cautious corporate giant was simply holding back a visionary creative who needed more freedom to do things her way.
Or from anyone looking at the outside, that parting company with Netflix is not a great thing for your brand.
That version has been going viral for the wrong reasons, because the insiders telling a different story aren't anonymous trolls. They're people described as familiar with the internal conversations at Netflix, and what they've been saying, what's been circulating across entertainment and royal media circles, paints a picture that looks nothing like the official statement. According to what's been widely reported and discussed, Netflix executives were not quietly sad to see her go. They were, according to multiple accounts now spreading across media platforms, ready for it to be over well. before the final announcement came.
I think that she thinks that we'll fall for this. I think we don't have such short memory. I can remember her making that.
Ted Sarandos, Netflix's CEO, offered the kind of polished exit statement that says everything and nothing at the same time. Warm words, professional language, the sort of send-off that corporations give when they want the story to end cleanly. But read between those lines, and what's already being read between them by thousands of people online, and a very different picture starts to emerge. Something about this doesn't add up. Here's what's raising eyebrows. Netflix is not a company that struggles to renew things that work. When a show performs, they commission more of it. Fast. They don't wait. They don't hedge. They move. And yet, across the entire Sussex partnership, spanning years and multiple projects, the pattern was always the same.
In the normal Hollywood structures, it could often take 5 or 10 years for a film from the beginning to the end to come out. Netflix doesn't do it that way.
Announcements, delays, projects stuck in development, films that never materialized, a lifestyle brand that never got the retail rollout that was reportedly planned. And at every stage, according to what insiders have been telling entertainment reporters, the friction wasn't coming from Netflix's side. Across social media, one question kept coming up. If Meghan is this talented creative who just needed more freedom, why did everyone who actually worked with her keep arriving at the same conclusion?
They are very much trying to cement in the public mind.
Why did the people closest to these projects, not commentators, not critics, but the ones in the actual rooms, keep saying the same thing in private that they were no longer saying only in private? Because it wasn't just Netflix. That's the detail that's been quietly spreading online and is now impossible to dismiss. The conversation about Meghan being difficult to work with didn't start at Netflix. It started earlier, much earlier. And it followed the Sussex brand from one project to the next, from one platform to the next, surfacing in entertainment circles after multiple partnerships ended, appearing in production conversations around projects that never saw the light of day, and now surfacing again in the aftermath of the Netflix exit, louder than ever before.
It was always intended Meghan will continue growing the brand and take it into its next chapter independently. So they claim that she was always going to leave after it.
It's just so clearly nonsense.
The ratings collapse was the headline. But according to the conversations now going viral, the ratings were never really the problem. The problem had a name, and everyone in those rooms apparently knew it. So if the insider accounts are to be believed, and right now, thousands of people online are deciding exactly that, the real story of the Netflix collapse isn't about streaming numbers or holiday specials or sellout waitlists. It's about something much harder to fix than a bad ratings quarter. Something that doesn't respond to a rebrand or a new platform or a carefully worded exit statement. Because you can change your show, you can change your brand name, you can walk away from one deal and announce the next one. But if the people who keep working with you keep saying the same thing, at some point, the story stops being about the project. And that is exactly where the internet is pointing right now. At a pattern that stretches back further than Netflix, at a trail of collapsed partnerships, stalled projects, and unnamed insiders all circling the same conclusion. The question is, how far back does that trail actually go? And who else has been saying this that we haven't heard from yet? Here's the thing about patterns. They don't lie. You can explain away one bad project. You can blame timing, blame the market, blame a platform that didn't support the vision. One failure has 100 possible excuses. But when the same story keeps repeating, different project, different platform, different year, the excuses start running out. And what's left is the pattern itself, sitting there, impossible to look away from. And the pattern around Meghan Markle and the people who've worked with her is now being examined more closely than ever before. Let's go back even further, because long before Hollywood entered the picture, there were whispers coming from a very different institution, one with far more history, far more protocol, and far more to lose from internal friction than any streaming platform. Multiple accounts, sourced by royal journalists and now circulating widely across commentary platforms, described a working environment inside the Sussex household that raised flags early. Staff turnover at a rate that drew attention, aides who left quietly, people who came in with loyalty and left, according to what's been reported and widely discussed online, with a very different impression of what working alongside Meghan actually meant. None of that was ever fully addressed. None of it was resolved publicly, and it didn't stay contained to palace walls. That reputation, that growing body of accounts, traveled with the Sussex brand into every room it entered afterward. Now, here's where it gets more complicated, because there are people, genuinely thoughtful voices in this conversation, who argue that what's being described as difficult is simply a woman who knows exactly what she wants, that the same behavior in a male executive would be called decisive, demanding, visionary, and that the pattern of labeling ambitious women as hard to work with is as old as the entertainment industry itself. That argument is out there, it's being made, and it deserves to be part of this conversation. But here's what makes this particular story different from that one. It's not critics saying this, it's not tabloids running palace sources with an obvious agenda. The voices that keep surfacing, they're the ones being picked up by entertainment reporters and royal commentators, are described as people who were genuinely inside these projects. People who wanted the Sussex brand to succeed. People who, according to what's been circulating, came in with goodwill and walked away with a very different story to tell. That distinction matters more than people are giving it credit for. And then there's the production side, because the behind-the-scenes accounts that have been spreading online don't stop at executive frustration. They extend into the actual creative process. Unconfirmed reports have circulated, widely enough to be picked up across multiple platforms, suggesting that Meghan's involvement in projects went beyond what was expected or welcomed, that conversations about creative control created friction that was difficult to navigate, that there were moments where the line between talent and decision-maker became blurred in ways that slowed everything down. None of this has been officially confirmed, but the volume of people describing similar experiences from similar vantage points is what has commentators and media insiders paying close attention. There's been growing chatter online about one project in particular, Meet Me at the Lake, the film adaptation that Netflix announced, and that has now been frozen in development for 3 years with no release date, no trailer, and no visible sign of forward movement. 3 years for a platform built on speed. And the questions being asked in entertainment circles, the ones spreading through royal commentary communities right now, aren't really about the film itself. They're about what's happening behind the scenes that has kept it locked in place for this long. No official explanation has been offered, and that silence has become its own kind of answer in the court of public opinion. Because here's what the internet keeps returning to. Every time a Sussex project stalls, every time a collaboration ends earlier than expected, every time an insider account surfaces and goes viral, the narrative from Meghan's side follows the same shape. The partner wasn't aligned with the vision. The environment was too restrictive. The timing wasn't right. And every single time, the people on the other side of that table eventually describe something that looks completely different from the official version. Many observers are now asking a question that would have seemed almost unthinkable in 2022. Is the Sussex brand, not the projects, not the platforms, but the brand itself, becoming something that the entertainment industry is quietly learning to keep at a distance? Because reputation in Hollywood doesn't work like reputation in most industries. It doesn't reset with a new deal announcement or a new brand name. It travels, it gets mentioned in rooms before meetings happen. It shapes decisions that are never written down anywhere. And according to the conversations now going viral, the reputation currently attached to working with Meghan Markle is not the kind that opens doors. It's the kind that makes people pause before walking through them. So here's where the story lands. The Netflix chapter is closed. Multiple high-profile partnerships have ended. The projects that were announced with fanfare are either stalled, shelved, or quietly forgotten. And Meghan is building again with, as ever, with wellness content, with whatever comes next. But she's building in an industry where the people who've already been in those rooms have already talked, where the insider accounts are already out there, where the phrase going viral right now, the woman nobody wants to work with, is no longer just a headline. It's a reputation. And reputations, once they take hold, are the hardest thing in the world to walk back. Not because of the ratings, not because of the review scores, but because of the people. The ones who were actually in those rooms, the ones who came in as allies and left with a story they couldn't stop telling. And right now, more of them are talking than ever before. Subscribe to Royal Archives, because the next chapter of this story is already being written. And based on everything that's been set in motion, it is not going to be quiet.